Hi, I'm Roman,
And I'm Fatin.
and we're building elav, which is AI company brain. So look, problem is straightforward. The real decisions within SMBs, startups, agencies, consultancies, they all happen in conversations. So on Zoom, in Slack, and in email, WhatsApp, Telegram, and almost none of it lands into CRM or centralized knowledge base. So sales may think one thing, ops another. In most cases, the founder, who is the CEO as well, becomes the company memory. Also now everyone's plugging like their AI agents on top of this mess, but the agents, they start from zero every time. So the models are ready, but the memory underneath not. That's exactly what we're building. The layer that remembers what happened, why it happened, and what the company does about it. Fatim will walk you through the product.
So this is elav. elav is a self-evolving knowledge base for small to medium-sized service firms, as Roman described, whom have data scattered across different tools and connections, such as Slack, Gmail, and Google Calendar. We connect the main ones such as this, and that's where we build the brain from.
We have WhatsApp, Telegram, Outlook.
Yeah.
So this is just an MVP. The architecture handles any of the tools through connectors and MCPs.
So the brain ingests every connection and starts extracting entities from those connected tools, as you can see here.
Yeah, extracts people, companies, deals.
And this is a self-evolving CRM system in real time, which structures unstructured data to structured data for your CRM. And inside of the workspace, when you prompt elav, each answer is grounded according to your workspace context from those connected tools. For example, what sources are connected today? And elav will ground the answer based on the context it receives.
So while it's running in the background, the brain organizes everything in the real time with the temporal timeline of when each event has happened.
So here you can see it has listed all the evidence and citations for the connected sources, and you could prompt more per tool. What is unread in Gmail today? And each of those answers have their evidences to boost the confidence of the responses. And this can also trigger skills, for example, prep.
Yeah, also one advantage so that our brain doesn't overwrite.
Yeah, so the brain has a temporal knowledge graph effect where an activity is remembered over a certain period of time. So if an activity has been updated, the brain is able to keep track of a timeline of that series of events. So you could query that timeline of event at any given point in time, from when it was initiated to when it was updated to when it was finished, etc.
Yeah, and this is a time-aware question exactly on the next meeting.
Yeah, and this invokes the skill automatically to prep the meeting. The meeting prep skill runs in the background, and it prepares the meeting based on available context that the brain has been able to ingest. Of course, right now from the ingested data from the tools, it doesn't have much context on what this meeting is about. So it says that accordingly on the context note.
Yeah, and as Fatim said, that their answer is traced with the citations based on the workspace memory. But of course, the memory is the foundation. The harder layer here is the action. So knowing when to do something and when to ask and when do nothing on purpose. And that's where our skills come in. So they run on top with approval gates, and agent proposes, the human confirms before anything writes back in the first place. When this whole thing will work at scale, then founders stop guessing about their company, or the whole even team, but also the agents will stop guessing and they will have relevant data, and everyone can act on verifiable memory. We can now also share with you what's underneath of elav, so a bit of our backend.
This is the mission control. Each agent has a certain role and personality and access to several skills for orchestrating certain tasks. The agent field consists of an orchestrating agent, which controls and routes tasks to the sub-agents. And in our system, we have 7 plus 8 total agents, 1 orchestrating main agent, and 7 sub-agents.
Yeah, this is what we see as the builders. That's not what the user sees on their end.
So here we have the task queue, where you see the defined tasks for the agents and the status of each of those tasks, which is linked to linear. So you have overview and observability of those issues in linear as well. And the performances of each of those agents and their statuses, and also the audit trail of the agents on the tasks they're doing in the system. Here's the task page for each of those agents on which is filtered on priorities and statuses. And also have board is AI agent governance board for proactively implementing missions based on consensus from the agents by leveraging best confidence scores from the agents. The graph is knowledge base. Takes a while for it to load, but essentially these are mapped entities and relationships. Each of those from our conversations had with the agents and tasks, it keeps track of all this as brain data.
Yeah, they're drillable to the source, all
Yeah.
those entries.
And you could drill it down to understand like what date was this recognized in the brain as an entity, and you can see relationship between each of those entities back and forth.
Yeah, they also sync with Obsidian in case customer comes with their own Obsidian.
Yeah. And the file system as well, which is all skills that we have. So we have a huge long list of skills, and you could drill down to each of those files here to see what is actually how the agent works with those. As you can see, the show.md is the personality of the agent.
Yeah, so if the agent drafting a report, you can see what's cooking without touching any internals, and every custom skill here is inspectable by the agent. Also, we're exploring version file systems, meaning that the agents connected to specific files. Parallel forks are tracking changes, basically like a GitHub, but for the agent work. And so it's critical for the trusted scale where, for example, specific agents need to have only specific access to even some chunks of the file. Then KPI metrics per agents. So we have health, tokens, audit trail, cost tracker, linked to Langfuse, I think.
Yeah, the cost tracking is linked to Langfuse, and that's pretty much the audit trail of the system, what is happening behind the hood, security scans, and the tasks of each of those agents and the status of what the agent's doing.
One concrete example is Slack task capture. So elav pulls tasks from our team Slack, and then user approves, agent executes. The tasks are like here actually real tasks that we have. Yeah. So that's elav, the user-facing brain on top, the agent orchestration layer underneath, and the differentiation. Obviously, the big platforms like Glean, Microsoft, they're all building towards enterprises, but there's lots of chaos and mess to untangle. We're building it for SMBs end-to-end, the ones that will grow up together with elav instead of bolting it on later. I built from Tallinn, so if you want to pocket it, app.elav.ai. We're looking for design partners, advisors, first users, so honest feedback, so reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.